This next story is not usually one that we talk about. In fact, our own WCBI policy is not to report on suicide. It is too hard, it's too painful, and for family and friends. But something has happened recently. Too many bright young people have died. Their families are devastated. Their friends are confused. So today, this is a story we will talk about. Our Riley Livingston joins us in the studio.
Andrea, things are rarely as they seem to an observer. The person who looks like they have it all may be struggling. Middle school and high school are both challenging. Teens and young adults are trying to balance all the pressures of growing up, and sometimes that pressure can feel like too much.
There is nothing glamorous about suicide. Young people are trying to balance life and a climate of achieving perfection.
There are really two factors that play into it. It's a feeling like you're a burden on others, that your death is worth more than your life, and it's also a feeling of disconnectedness. The person genuinely feels that and believes it.
And that can be crushing. You may know some of these warning signs: depression, insomnia, giving away prized items, and an increase or change in substance use can indicate a mental shift. But spotting these signs can be difficult.
Often it is, those that seem most put together, some of the highest achieving that actually are the ones that end up dying by suicide. When you look at Ivy League schools, they always have very high suicide rates.
Suicide is the second leading cause of death for young people 10 to 34 years of age, according to the CDC.
My best guess is, there are new stressors nowadays that we didn't have in past years. Social media puts a whole new layer on, people just judging themselves against others. And I like to tell clients, some people do, but most people don't put the crummy things that happen on social media. They share the successes, they don't share the struggles.
Dr. Michael Nadorf says a first attempt for teens is typically not a final attempt. He says for every 250 suicide attempts, there is about one death.
With each attempt, your risk of eventual death by suicide increases drastically. We need to be more careful and more vigilant, especially knowing what triggers got them to that point before, so we can try to avoid it in the future.
Family and friends are left behind trying to cope.
I believe postvention is really important. So postvention is where it's an intervention basically after the fact, both supporting those that have, lost someone that means a lot to them. One of the things that people can do is when a suicide happens, be sure that the school or a church or someone, brings in people, to help and to talk, about what happened and to try to process it.
Dr. Nadorf says it's important for parents to be open with their children. Talk with your children or young friends about the struggles they are having. Help them find help and find hope. If the child won't open up to you, find someone they will talk to, like an aunt or uncle or a friend of the family. If you need someone to talk with, you can also call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. If you're worried about someone you know, talk to them, support them, ask for help.